Hare Krishna, Bhagavad Gita as it is, Shlok number 24, chapter number 2. Om Agyan Timirandhasya Jnananjan Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jagat Guru श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णवों की जय. हरे कृष्णा. श्लोक नंबर 24. अच्छेद्योऽयम् अदाह्योऽयम् अक्लेद्यो अशोष्य एव च नित्यः सर्वगतः स्थाणुः अचलोऽयं सनातनः. अच्छेद्योऽयम् अदाह्योऽयम् अक्लेद्यो अशोष्य एव च नित्यः सर्वगतः स्थाणुः अचलोऽयं सनातनः. श्री कृष्ण अर्जुन को समझाते हुए कह रहे हैं कि हे अर्जुन, यह आत्मा अखंडित तथा अघुलनशील है. इसे ना तो जलाया जा सकता है, ना ही सुखाया जा सकता है. यह शाश्वत, सर्वव्यापी, अविकारी, स्थिर तथा सदैव एक सा रहने वाला है. हमारी आत्मा, जो कि अणु आत्मा है, के इतने सारे गुण यही सिद्ध करते हैं कि आत्मा पूर्ण आत्मा, जो कि श्री कृष्ण है, उनका अंश है और बिना किसी परिवर्तन के निरंतर उसी तरह बना रहता है. In the shlok, the individual soul is explained in many ways. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can be neither burnt nor dried up. All this was explained to Arjuna by Sri Krishna in the previous shlok number 23. Nainam chindanti shastrani nainam dahati pavakah na chainam kledayantyapo na shoshyati marutah, which means that the individual soul can neither be burnt nor it can be cut by any weapon, nor it can be wet with water, nor it can be dried up by air. Now some more adjectives are described about the immortal soul by Sri Krishna. In this shlok, Sri Krishna says that the soul is nitya, which means everlasting. It is sarvagataha, which means all pervading. That is, the soul is everywhere. Then it is said that the soul is stharuh, achal, and sanatan, which means that the soul is immovable and eternally the same. Now we might think that why is Sri Krishna explaining to Arjuna about the soul in the detailed manner? It is because that Sri Krishna wants us to understand our true identity, that we are not our body, but we are the spirit soul, which is in the material body. In earlier shloks, we have seen that Arjuna is Gunakesh, which means he is not ignorant of his true self, but he is merely acting as an ignorant person to help Sri Krishna to give the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to each one of us. Bhagavad Gita is Sri Krishna himself, and Sri Krishna is the greatest teacher. Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru, and he is explaining the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, and in it he is explaining the nature and the qualities of the spirit soul on the basis of the knowledge of scriptures, of Bhagavatam, and the worldly logic. Krishna says that the 5 elements of nature, that is earth, water, sky, fire, and air, do not have any effect on the soul, as the soul is not the part of these 5 elements, but it is the part and parcel of the Supreme Soul, who is Sri Krishna himself. Srila Prabhupada also, just like Sri Krishna, explains everything to us on the basis of scriptures and by using the worldly logic. That is why Srila Prabhupada is known as Jagat Guru. Srila Prabhupada says that the soul is everlasting and all pervading. He says that we can see the plants of the banyan or peepal tree growing on the walls of the abandoned houses. Then we see that ants and other insects living inside the tiny holes, which means that the soul is everywhere. Further, Srila Prabhupada explains that the soul is in the sun planet and the moon planet also. The living entities in those planets have a body suitable to sun planet and the moon planet. To make this example more valid, Srila Prabhupada says that the aquatics and the fishes have a body to be comfortable in water which we can't even imagine. So, it should not be difficult to understand that the living entity, which is the soul, is all pervading, which means everywhere, on land, water, and other planets also. And the soul is unchangeable and eternally the same. The soul doesn't go through any changes like the body because it's not the part of the 5 elements of nature, but it's the part and parcel of Sri Krishna, who is Ajo Nityam Shashvato Ayam Purano. Ajo means unborn. Nityam means eternal. Shashvat means permanent. And Purano means the oldest. Srila Prabhupada says the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is to make people fearless and sober. I'm sure that once we understand that we are not body and we are the spirit soul, and the body dies after a certain period of time and the soul never dies, then all of us will become strong and sober to handle such situations in our life, because each one of us have to face such situations whether we like it or not, because this is the law of nature. I bow down in front of Srila Prabhupada and all the senior acharyas who have explained us this profound knowledge of our true identity in such a simple and understandable manner. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I bow down to each listener of mine and I thank everyone to be writing such beautiful comments to encourage me. And I also get to know that you are understanding the way Srila Prabhupada wants us to understand. Hare Krishna. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnavo ki jai. Hare Krishna.